This is the Red Sox POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Boston Red Sox, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Walker Buehler goes 7 strong. KC, the rookie. Christian Campbell, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. Rob Refsnyder, first home run of the season. Sox win on Patriots Day. And with Monday's victory, Red Sox take 3 of 3 from the White Sox. We welcome you to our latest Locked On Red Sox postcast. I'm Steve Lennox, baseball play-by-play announcer, show host. I've called games from the Tokyo Dome in Tokyo, Japan, Dodger Stadium, Target Field, Kauffman Stadium, Jacobs Field, Globe Life in Arlington, Texas, and Granger Stadium in Kinston, North Carolina. We are providing reaction every Red Sox game on the Locked On Red Sox YouTube channel, as well as the Locked On Red Sox podcast feed, which you know is free and available wherever you get your podcast. On our latest Locked On Red Sox postcast, we're going to discuss Walker Buehler going 7 innings and allowing just 1 run and picking up his 3rd win on the season. He was terrific throughout, had a lot of base runners early on, but did finish strong. Tristan Casas does continue to struggle at the plate for the Red Sox, and Alex Cora going with Aroldis Chapman in the 8th inning, and Slayton in the 9th inning. We do want to hear from you, our everydayers and our first-timers, with us on the Locked On Red Sox YouTube channel. Hit that comment button. Join the conversation. We always ask and hope that you will also follow us on the X, formerly known as Twitter, at Lennox on Baseball. Our latest Locked On Red Sox postcast presented by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off on your first year. As always, we also thank you for making the Locked On Red Sox postcast your first listen every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So the Red Sox losing on Sunday, that loss to the White Sox, snapping a 4-game win streak. Red Sox took the field on Patriots Day. Yes, big day in New England, big day in Boston. The 129th running of the Boston Marathon today in Boston, and the Red Sox down 1-0 in the first inning. Walker Buehler giving up a couple of base hits in that first inning, a couple of singles in the first run of the game, scoring an RBI groundout. But the Red Sox do answer. They get a run in the second on a home run by Rob Refsnyder, and then the Red Sox got the offense going and took the lead for good in the 3rd inning as Jarren Duran was able to get things going for the Red Sox.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Jarren Duran with a double to get things going against Jonathan Cannon in the 3rd inning. And Duran with the double. Second time through the lineup, the Red Sox got to Jonathan Cannon in that 3rd inning. But Cannon settled down, ended up going 6 innings in the outing, and really the Red Sox had an opportunity for a knockout punch. 1-1 ball game going bottom 3. Duran double off the Green Monster, extending his hit streak to 8 in a row. We'll touch on that hit streak coming up in numbers of the day. Devers, after Duran's double, pops out. Bregman walks, and Lou Merloni, first Nesson reference, after Devers popped out, saying, you got to get this guy in. And they did. Trevor Story, 3 hits on the day, 3 singles, RBI base hit. Red Sox up 2-1. Story is 15th RBI. Abreu, then a walk. And then Christian Campbell, the rookie, down in the count, 0-2. And we're not going to wait to the second segment. This is what we call the at-bat of the game. Campbell down 0-2, got the count full 3-2, and then delivered with a 2-run single. And Lou Merloni, again, a lot of great at-bats for Christian Campbell early on in the season. That might have been his best at-bat right there. And as he got the base hit to knock in a pair, he had 2 hits in the game, picks up a couple of more RBIs, and with that, jogging down, hustling down to first base, and looking at the dugout and kind of pumping everybody else. Excited in that moment. And great to see the emotion from the rookie as he delivers. And this is a guy who's been on base, I think, now in every game but one so far in the regular season, with a hit or a walk. And he just continues to deliver. You're going to have to take an error every once in a while. But he continues to put together quality plate appearances. And again, he was down 0-2 in the count, worked at full 3-2, had a check swing on a 2-strike pitch, and it was like, wow, which wrist hurts more right there? And Lou Merloni continues to sort of talked about it on Sunday. He takes some violent takes. That one, the check swing, I thought he went around. I thought that was strike 3. He's out. But on review, in the replay, no, he was able to hold up. Those are strong wrists for Christian Campbell. I mean, it was really impressive. But Campbell comes through in that 3-run inning. The Red Sox were not able to add on. 5th inning, Story 1-out single, moved to second on a wild pitch, could not score. Nothing doing in the 6th inning. And Cannon in that 6th inning retired the side in order on just 7 pitches. So they really had an opportunity to knock him out, didn't do it. On the other side, Walker Buehler was solid. 7 strong innings for Walker Buehler. Didn't get off to a great start. 2 singles and an RBI ground out in the 1st inning. 2nd inning, a 1-out double, a couple of strikeouts. 3rd inning, a couple of walks, retired the next 3 hitters. Then he really settled in. Retired the side on 9 pitches in the 4th. Maton, a 1-out walk in the 5th inning. Casas started a nice 3-6-3 double play, and Buehler in that 5th inning throwing 14 pitches. And the 4th and 5th innings, actually the 3rd and 4th innings for Buehler, no, I had it first time. 4th and 5th innings really gave him an opportunity to go 7. And like with Tanner Houck, I said it on Saturday. Houck, if he's going to start the 6th or 7th inning, started the 6th inning Sunday, finished the 6th inning. I wanted to see the same from Buehler. I didn't want him just to go out there for the 7th inning, get 1 out, and Alex Cora pulls the hook. And he didn't. Buehler, 10 pitches, 1-out base hit in the 6th inning, nothing else. 91 pitches through 6. He throws 9 pitches in that 7th inning, picks up his 9th strikeout of the game. Bregman picked him up on a nice play as he came in on the ball on the infield grass. Bregman does that really well. And then he got a ground out to second, outing over for Buehler, who throws exactly 100 pitches in the outing. You have to be impressed with what he not only did on Sunday, but what he's starting to put together as well. If you're with us on the Locked On Sports Locked On Red Sox YouTube channel, hit us up in the comments section. You've got to be happy about this victory. You take 4 of the 7 meetings with the White Sox. Would you rather have gone 5-2? Yes. But you go 4-3, you take 3 out of 4 in Boston after dropping 2 of 3 2 weekends ago now in Chicago against the White Sox. And on Sunday, it was doom and gloom. You're thinking, White Sox, if they garner a split of the series, they're going to win the season series. Didn't happen. And how about a great storyline? Aroldis Chapman pitches the 8th inning. Who leads off? Bobby Dahlbeck, just called up from AAA Charlotte in the White Sox minor league system. Dahlbeck strikes out on 3 pitches. And that at-bat was going to go one of 2 ways. Dahlbeck was going to touch up Aroldis Chapman for a home run, or he was going to strike out on 3 pitches. He struck out on 3 pitches. Now, the next batter, another former Red Sox player, Andrew Benintendi, touches up Chapman with a home run. And that makes it a 4-2 ball game. So Chapman gives up a run, works the 8th inning. Slayton 1-2-3 9th. Lou Merloni mentioned it. I think Slayton's now retired. 21 straight batters, picks up the save, his 3rd on the season. So the Red Sox, a nice win. The only thing I would have liked to have seen, I've got one more note on Buehler. White Sox, again, they had base runners. They had traffic on the bases early on against Buehler. Then he settled in. They went 0 for 8 against Buehler with runners in scoring position. Did have a productive out with an RBI ground out in the 1st inning. But they went 0 for 8. Had their opportunities against Buehler, but he shut them down with runners in scoring position. Again, hitless in 8 at-bats. Buehler picks up his 3rd win on the season, and now Seattle comes to town. And expect pitching in the series. You've got Brian Bayo. We'll touch on that more in segment number 2. Bayo goes in the opener. Bayo, opening day starter in Seattle to start the 2024 Major League Baseball regular season. He'll make his season debut on Tuesday. And you hope for 6, right? You hope for 6, and then 9 outs from the bullpen. But you need to take advantage of your scoring opportunities in the upcoming series against Seattle. Off to a 12-10 start. Just took 2 out of 3 against the Blue Jays in Toronto this past weekend. Actually had an off day. I would imagine they were in Boston for Patriots Day in the Marathon on Monday. And that series underway Tuesday, Wednesday, day game on Thursday. Then the Red Sox on the road for, I think it's 6 in a row. We'll touch on that with what's next and what's on tap coming up in segment number 2. But Rob Refsnyder hits his first home run of the season. Red Sox extend that streak with at least one home run. We'll touch on that as well. But where the Red Sox, Dave O'Brien mentioned it. You take the lead with that 3-run inning, and you're up 4-1, but you don't add on against Cannon and then the bullpen. You had Cannon on the ropes. I don't know if it's part of it, but it's interesting that the Red Sox now without a stolen base in 5 straight games. This is a number of the day. 5 straight games without a stolen base. They were running wild early on in the season. And now just 2 stolen bases over the last 8 games. I think that's part of it. You get a base runner, Story, a majority of the guys in the lineup who can run bases, but they do not have a stolen base now in 5 straight games. Found that last night. I'm like, that's interesting. They're just not running. And again, limited opportunities, few base runners, and sometimes it's situational. But the Red Sox are hitting home runs. Refsnyder solo shot. You want those 3-run home runs, and they've had a bunch of those here early on in the season. But you pick up a bag, you get a guy in scoring position. And Duran was even running in front of Devers early on in the season. I'm not sure if there's something going on right now in the sense of we're not going to run. This team can run, and they need to take advantage of the guys that they have. Not only the guys with above and terrific speed, well above average speed, but guys like Story who can run, terrific athlete, but he knows how to run the bases too. He's very smart out on the bases. Have to feel good. Red Sox take 3 out of 4. They've now won 5 out of their last 6, 6 of their last 8 games, and now Seattle comes to town. More on Tristan Casas and more numbers of the day as the Red Sox pick up the victory in the series finale. That is part of Numbers of the Day when we continue. Locked On Red Sox postcast. Locked On Red Sox, part of the Locked On Sports Network, your team every day. We are presented by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all the money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, check those 3 boxes for me. Easy to lose track, right? That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and you start building on your wealth. When you start using Monarch Money, you may soon realize just how much money you are spending on food delivery. When you do that, you're going to budget smarter and save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan on your long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set your goals together, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off on your first year. Again, that's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off on your first year. Red Sox pick up the victory in the finale against the Chicago White Sox, 4-2 the final. Chapman gives up a home run in the 8th inning, but Slayton works a 1-2-3 ninth to lock down his 3rd save on the year. And with the win in the finale for the Red Sox, Red Sox are now 6-1 in the final game of a series on the season through their first 7, and they've won 6 straight in the finale. So that's taking the series. Up 2-1 in a 4-game series against the White Sox. You take the finale on Sunday. Now, against the White Sox a couple of Sundays ago, you have to win to avoid being swept by the White Sox in Chicago. The Toronto series, you had to win the finale in order to avoid being swept by the Blue Jays. So important to win that final game of the series. You're hoping you win the final game of the Major League Baseball season come October. So the Sox pick up the victory, and now 4-10 on the season when the opposing team scores first, 5th comeback win of the season. Down 1-0. Refsnyder ties the game. They go in front with a 3-run inning, but it does come back as a 5th comeback on the season. Jarren Duran, 8-game hit streak, double to get that 3-run frame going against Cannon, and Duran now has a single base hit, 1 for 4 in the day. Single base hit, no multi-hit games during the course of this 8-game homestand. Let's start with the positives on Tristan Casas. He starts a nifty 3-6-3 double play behind Buehler in the 5th inning. But Casas, again, game-winning walk-off base hit in extra innings in the 10th inning on Saturday. You think that's going to be the moment. 0 for 4 Sunday, 0 for 4 again on Monday. And Lou Merloni brought up Casas has really struggled against starting pitchers. Well, Casas has also struggled against right-handed pitchers as well. 4 at-bats and 0 for 4. He is now batting he's batting a .103, 103 on the season against righties, 7 hits and 68 at-bats. That's telling you an awful lot. I mean, you can do the math. I'm not doing it in my head because I'll embarrass myself. But what he needs just to get to a respectable 250, 275 against righties going forward, I mean, he needs to go on an absolute heater right now and a hot streak. And I don't see it. And again, Bobby Dahlbeck gets an at-bat late in the game and strikes out against Chapman. Casas doesn't strike out at the rate, and Lou Merloni said, Dahlbeck still has a lot of swing and miss. But Tristan Casas, you're starting to go in that direction where it needs to start, and it needs to start immediately, and it needs to go for a long stretch. I've said that now a couple of shows in a row. But it needs to get going. It really does. Lou Merloni talks about Refsnyder. He hits the home run against righties. It's one thing a lefty versus a lefty. Right-handed batter, yes. Refsnyder, great success over his career against lefties. But he can hit right-handers. And he did in his first at-bat of the game, tying the game up 1-1 early on. And, that was after Casas actually hit into a double play. Saw one pitch. Campbell had a single. Casas hits into a 3-6-3 double play on the first pitch that he sees against Cannon. And Merloni says he's got some unthinkable numbers. Yeah. And his numbers against right-handers, he should be wearing right-handers out. And he's not. So I'm not going to be surprised. I'm not calling for it. But I'm not going to be surprised if they make some move at some point soon. And you really don't have a lot of options behind Casas at first base. Where is Dominic Smith when you need him? I failed to look that up over the last 48 hours. But Dom Smith, remember when Casas, it was the right move last year. When Casas was finally activated, they had to designate Dom Smith for assignment. And Dom's, if you're going to rely on a guy like Dom Smith, he's had opportunities with multiple big league clubs now. A bunch of big league clubs where he just hasn't been able to come on board and stick around. The Red Sox last year weren't the only team. Now, I'm not saying Dom Smith is the answer, but you got to knock on that door perhaps. I don't know what lights the spark under Tristan Casas. I really don't right now. But it's got to get going. And it's got to get going immediately. Immediately. And Jemai Webster had a little report on Casas, and Casas telling him, hey, last year before the injury, early on in the season, I had 6 home runs. That's last year. You no longer care about what, the slow starts or this start or a funk or anything. Last year still sticks out in my mind of how long he was out with the injury, how quiet it was. And then all of a sudden he's ramping up and he's going to be back, and it was still a few more weeks. Something there. Not sure what it is, but, Casas has to get going. And I thought about that when Dahlbeck came to the plate late against Chapman. I'm thinking, Tristan Casas can look at the guy at the plate right now and say, you know what? It's time for me to get going as a productive major leaguer and a consistent guy. This is a guy that you think can hit 30 home runs, knock in 75 to 100, and hit 275 or better. And it's not there right now. And to get to those numbers this year, it might be in there. But the starting point has to come, again, not sooner rather than later. It's got to come now at this point. What's on tap for the Red Sox? 3 games against the Seattle Mariners. Looking forward to this series. 3 in a row against Seattle. Red Sox, by the way, one more number of the day. They had lost their previous 3 games on Patriots Day, so picking up the victory on Patriots Day and a nice win. Brian Bayo makes his season debut in the opener against the Mariners Tuesday night at Fenway Park. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Again, Seattle off on Monday, traveling from Toronto, and 12-10 right now through their first 22 games of the season, winning 2 of 3 over the weekend. Cal Raleigh's gotten off to a great start for Seattle. Mariners catcher, I think, 6 home runs in like his last 8 or 9 games. And they took 2 out of 3 in that series against the Blue Jays. This is the third leg of their road trip. Cincinnati, Toronto, and Boston to wrap up. Bayo, as I mentioned, season debut going on Tuesday. And Sean Newcomb gets one more start, at least. Newcomb is going to go on Wednesday. Then you've got Garrett Crochet in the finale and a matinee on Thursday at Fenway Park. Then it's off to Cleveland. And then a 3-game series in Toronto against the Blue Jays. And don't forget, the Blue Jays took care of business, winning the series at Fenway against the Red Sox after the Red Sox swept their first series of the season at Fenway against the St. Louis Cardinals. And, right now, that feels like it was a long time ago. Red Sox pick up the victory. They've won 5 out of 6, 6 out of 8. And they'll try to win the series opener against the Mariners with Brian Bayo making the start, his season debut on Tuesday night. We are going to be on within minutes of the final out Tuesday night with our latest Locked On Red Sox postcast. As always, we tip our cap, acknowledge our sponsor, Monarch Money, and we say thank you as well to you on this Patriots Day Monday for all your support and trusting us with the Locked On Red Sox postcast, offering up immediate reaction to every Red Sox game throughout the course of the season. Locked On Red Sox postcast, number one place to hang out immediately after every game. Tell your friends all about us. Locked On Sports, your team, your Boston teams, every day.